Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Friday, and on Friday here on Biz Chicks, we talk tech in English. I'm here with my partner, co host, and friend, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So we invite you to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation, and we want to give a big shout out to everybody listening over on Clubhouse. And for those of you who are watching on the replay, we just say thank you so much for tuning in because we know you could have been somewhere else, but you chose to spend your time here with us, and we appreciate you. Hey, I see TJ's coming in, and we hope to be joined shortly by her and Dr. Tachi right here on Biz Chicks. How you doing this morning, Fran?
I am doing very well. And over in the clubhouse, we got Mark Ward, and all the way from Chicago, Illinois. I do believe
Hey,
that's the
Mark.
place. And TJ's from New York City. And wherever you are in the world, we say welcome and thank you for being here. And we always start the program off. And I'm going to do a disclaimer on anybody watching or joining in on Clubhouse. This is being recorded via our Biz Chicks podcast, our live podcast. So if you are wanting to speak, just letting you know that it is recorded. So we're going to start out with this day in tech history. We've got a couple of stories that I think are very apropos. I'm going to use a big word today.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And the first one being, I'm going to start with January 27th, 2010. That was 11 years ago. Apple introduces the iPad. While still only a few years old, the introduction of the iPad triggered the close of the PC era and will certainly go down in history as one of the pivotal points in computing history. According to the author of this blog, Marcel Brown, and this is This Day in Tech History. So the next story I have, January 28th, 1999, Yahoo buys GeoCities for $3.65 billion US dollars. GeoCities was an early web hosting service getting its start in 1994. As a testament to its popularity, there were about 38 million pages remaining on the GeoCities when Yahoo shut it down in 2009. So now Yahoo took over that. Sad note in history, January 28th, 1986, on this cold January morning, the space shuttle Challenger broke apart after liftoff, killing all 7 astronauts on board, contrary to popular belief, while the external fuel tank did combust, the Challenger truly didn't explode as much as it was torn apart by aerodynamic forces.
Wow.
Okay, January 28th, 1998. It seems so long ago. Radio Shack partners exclusively with Compaq rather than IBM to sell PCs throughout their 7,000 stores. 6 years later, IBM sold its PC division to the Chinese company Lenovo. Compaq was the exclusive PC sold in Radio Shack stores for many years.
I remember that.
And both of them are no longer
defunct. Mm-hmm.
And this one is, I hadn't seen this story before. January 29, 1886. Yes, I said 1886. Carl Benz patents the first successful gasoline-driven automobile. He would eventually go on to found the Mercedes-Benz Company.
Oh.
1886. I'm just saying, wow. Okay. And then, okay, you know how I am about Mars, so I'm going to just do the story. January 29th, 1989, the USSR's Phobos 2 enters Martian orbit on its way to the moon, Phobos. The spacecraft never completed its mission as it lost contact with mission control on March 27. Due to some unusual last photos received from Phobos 2, speculation arose that it was destroyed by a UFO. Official reports blame the failure on the onboard computer. And the author writes, I wonder if Mission Control was trying to secure the Martian licensing rights to Tetris.
Have mercy.
Mm-hmm. And the last story, January 29th, 1988, the computer game Tetris makes its first appearance in the United States as a PC game. The company that released the game was Spectrum Holobyte, which had dubious license rights to the game. When companies became interested in licensing Tetris for other platforms besides the PCs, a series of events kicked off a long legal battle in which the big winner was eventually Nintendo, who used the game Tetris to drive the sales of its new Game Boy platform. Mm-hmm. That is your week in tech history.
Wow. Okay. The beginning of serious gaming.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
How you doing this morning, TJ? It's so good to see you.
Mark is talking. Go ahead, Mark.
Something else happened that's not tech history, but worthy of note. 67 years ago today, someone was born. Do you know who it was?
Was that you? Oh, who was that?
That would be Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
happy birthday, Oprah. Did not know that. I thought it was you.
We know that she's probably listening, so wanted to make sure to note that.
Thank you. There's some tech history in that too. So, hey, TJ.
Hello.
All the way live from New York City. So, Terry, what stories do you have for us today? Are you going to take us down some rabbit trails?
I hope not. I want to talk to you about paying for your coffee with facial recognition. It's a real thing now in Southern California. It's always been a real thing over there in China for a couple of years, but the BBC had an article. You know, I love their little videos. And they were showing the lady going into the coffee shop, putting her face there. It recognizes her face. It charges her account. And then if she wants to give a tip, she can do a peace sign. That'll tell her, 15%, or she can do this. That'll be 20%. Or, so it recognizes different signals that you set up for tips. And then you just walk out. So now you don't have to worry about, did you leave your bank card at home? You know what I mean? It can also, they're working on it so that it can identify you even with the mask on. They say it's more secure than using your bank card. I don't know, because I'm not, a face mapper, but I can see where we're already using our face anyway to open our phones and do different things. So I can see where it would just carry over into being able to pay for things. And so about 70 restaurants in Southern California are actually using this technology already. We talked about this technology a couple of years ago. Remember, TJ, with being able to swipe your hand and pay for the
yeah, there was a ring. It was a ring, and it was they used it for clocking employees, like they would clock in and out instead of a time clock.
Yes, and then I think over in Amsterdam or somewhere you were able to wave your hand and pay for the subway and do different things. So, this technology is in force, but now it's all about your face. So make sure your makeup's intact, guys. We got to up our makeup game because we're going to be actually using our face to pay for things.
And Mark has a comment over here. He says, you know that you look tired when they give you 2 cups of coffee instead of 1.
When they up your caffeine, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to see how that would work. Oh, you
Yeah,
just
I
know
mean,
the facial rec on the iPhone. You can have two different you can have more than one person on your facial rec for your phone. Um,
so now you can use your spouse's card because, but it can't tell the difference between a picture and a human.
it can,
Yes, it can.
yeah,
You
because
can't just go around holding up your sister's picture and using her credit card.
yeah, because the face
It
rec
can tell
doesn't work
between
that way.
twins. It says it can actually tell between identical twins,
Yeah,
which I thought was a good thing.
everybody else is fooled, but not the AI.
And I don't know if it's because they do the, retinas or what. I don't know. Because that's pretty detailed to tell between identical twins.
Interesting.
So that's what I wanted to talk about, was the whole facial recognition thing, and would you trust it?
Well,
It depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't some places using? I know the airport, they're doing something with face
Facial
recognition.
recognition.
the TSAs are using
Yes.
face rec and I think in China you pay for stuff.
Oh, it is prevalent all
with
over China.
facial rec.
One lady was saying that they're using it in the dormitory, and she refuses to use it because she says tech is just taking over, and she's trying to hold out for some semblance of humanity.
Well, until we get Rosie Robot serving us, it's not going to work. Because Mark said it will never work in Beverly Hills.
Why, Mark? Are they constantly augmenting their facial features?
Yes. Some of them can't. They have a permanent smile.
He says, "New face. Who this?"
Oh, because of the surgery. Oh, that's smart.
They
Very
get
clever.
surgery every so often. They don't even know. Eyebrows don't move. Forehead don't move. You got a point, Mark. You got a point.
And then you've got contact lenses going in. You know what I mean?
Well, and the contact lenses, supposing you wear contact lenses, they still would recognize your face, because even with glasses on to unlock your phone, it recognizes when you have glasses on, sunglasses or whatever. It still recognizes you when you're there.
Well, that's the new thing, and if it starts in Southern California, we should be seeing it up this end soon.
Well, it's all. Oh, you mean the coffee?
The ability to pay in restaurants and things. And one thing that has really helped it to take off is this whole people wanting to be contactless in terms of paying for things. So I can see that it's done by a startup called Pop ID. So, or Pop ID? No, Pop ID.
Okay, see now. And that's okay, but then do you trust them to have the security measures in place that you would with a company that has a longer history of being in the tech space? Do you understand what I mean? Do you trust because they're new?
Well, the thing is, the technology is not that new. And they're connected to banks, which are FDIC insured. So it's about as safe as a credit card, I guess, or any other form of payment over the internet.
Well, I'm just saying, do you trust that they're going to take care of it and they're not going to do a blab?
Oh, well, I see what you're saying. Will they disappear on us?
Because in the maturity level of the person doing it, you know, the person who started it, because okay. Oh, I'm tired of this. I don't want to play with this. I don't want to play this anymore. And they walk away. Okay. But then you've got a lot of people who have joined in on it. You've gotten people to buy into it and use it and do all of this other stuff. And then you just like, oh, I'm tired of this and walk away. That's not cool.
Well, no, it's not cool, but it is a thing. What can I tell you? I want you to know that they're going to be using some drones in parts of Africa and some other continents to deliver vaccine. I thought that was interesting. So it's a way to get it there into remote places. We'll probably be using it here because we got some remote places in America to deliver vaccine. I thought that was an interesting choice. What can I say? Choice for delivery. And also the startup, what is it, Skip? I've forgotten the name of it, with the scooters.
Oh, yeah?
They have a 3-wheel scooter. And you can call the scooter and it'll come to you. Okay. You can what do you call it, page the scooter and it'll find
on your phone? On your phone, you pay and it comes?
It'll come to you now. So I thought that was interesting. And I love the fact that it's 3-wheel because I probably could balance a 3-wheel scooter. I'm not trying to get on a 2-wheel. I'm way past that. But I might try a 3-wheel one.
Yeah, Mark has a comment. He said the stories of aliens landing and probing people will now be well founded.
Yes, more than likely. I didn't want to even talk to y'all about the fact that they're going to start mass producing those humanoid robots.
Oh, the one, okay, so there was a show on, I think it was Fox, called Human, and it was H-U-M, and they flipped the A up or something. Mom, and the little girl said, Dad, I saw a bot. And I was like, Lord, because she looked like a human.
But she wasn't.
She wasn't, but I mean, okay, her face or wet, she probably could pass because she could get human and
pay for some stuff.
And every household was given a bot, or they could buy a bot or something. But it was weird because, that whole situation about how bots were running, they got the kids off to school and they did all of these different things and they were depending on the bot to do everything. And I was like, wow. Do you want a bot doing everything for you? I just decided to go buy an iRobot vacuum, but it doesn't have a face.
Well, this one has a face. It just looked like it needed some hair.
I don't want the robot vacuum to have a face.
No, I don't either. And I really don't want her walking in or him walking in and actually,
like
robot,
in human form.
Actually, I don't know.
Is that for you?
Do you remember the movie? Robin Williams did a movie where he was the robot and it was like set like 200 years in the future or something. And he was like the bot, the robot. And he it was like he was the robot with a family. They bought him in the early days. They didn't like it, but then it showed the progression of him living with the family and the father being young. And then he died old and the daughter, like at the end, he became like a human part of the family. And it was, I can't remember the name of the movie. It's been years.
But we can go look that up on IDB.
It was Robin Williams, and he was the robot, and it did get a lot of great reviews. I thought it was okay. I think it was ahead of its time. If they played the movie today, we would have a different response.
Yes, because we know it's possible.
The name of the movie. Let me see if I can find it.
Mark said it could be helpful for the carpool lane.
Yes, I'm sure it would fool a lot of people. Some of these blow up things didn't go well, but
yes, the blow up dolls did not
go well. But yeah, it seems to be a thing.
The blow up dolls. I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
But the fact that it's going into mass production says a lot.
Mike said it's Bicentennial Man is the movie.
That's it.
Oh.
Thank you, Mark. That's
Thank
the
you.
name of it.
I'm gonna go look that up because there was another movie that came out called I, Robot with Will Smith,
Yes.
which was he was like, I don't like robots. Okay, dude, you're part robot, so what else?
Well, that's all I have. I just, wanted to stir that whole thing up with that facial recognition at the restaurants and being able to tip, you know what I mean, with your hands,
With
hands
a sign. And so you're not actually touching
anything.
You're not touching anything.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
So-
I looked up the Bicentennial Man. I don't know why I thought Robin Williams was like humanoid features. He's like a robot in the movie. It's been so long since I've seen it. I think it was 1999 or something. But I think it deserves a rewatch in 2021.
Look how far we've come.
We're in a different spot. And if they were to do that movie today, and if Robin Williams played the android, he would look like himself. They wouldn't put any kind of mechanical look, because that's where we're going to evolve, where it's going to look like, a human instead of.
And it might have freaked people out in 1999.
It did. It didn't get good reviews. I think IMDb saying it's like 6 stars or something. I thought it was touching because it showed the progression of them absorbing Robin Williams as the android bot into the family. Like the little girl hated him, and at the end she was a woman, and she was like, he was like a part of the family. So it's a sweet movie. I think I have a sinking feeling, a suspicious feeling that rewatching it now, if we can find it, I don't know if it's on Netflix or whatever, but if we watch it now, we're gonna have different emotions about it, because it didn't get good reviews when it came out.
Right. And okay, so then we were talking about robots and androids. So then we had Data from Star Trek, who was the android on the ship, and he was like outcasted, like, what's this thing being on the dude, you might want him flying the plane.
Yeah, I want him. The bot, the android can do the mechanical stuff, like the mathematical, like things that are coded mathematically, and there's no room for error, like driving a car.
We want the android calculating.
Right, driving a car, calculating the
sign
or whatever, computer stuff.
Right. Yes, and yes. So
but I wouldn't want them to give me a haircut, like stuff like that. That's human stuff, but mechanical, mathematic, have at it.
Okay, so then the robot in Lost in Space.
Oh Lord.
Lost in Space is
your real Robin.
Oh, the new one.
The new Lost in Space.
Oh, there's a new Lost in Space?
Yeah, they redid it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I just got, and the Dr. Smith is a woman, and she's crazy as all get out. I was like, Lord.
I didn't watch the new one.
I you know what? I don't even know if I still subscribe to Netflix. I hope that doesn't go viral.
Well, so here's the thing with Netflix, or at least with that particular one. I need stories to come to an end. I don't like them going on and on and on, and they like doing series and stuff. I'm like, I don't want a series. Get me to the end of the story. Finish it. Okay. And I think that's because of Lost. When they started a series on Lost, where every episode was a continuation in the story, I got lost in Lost, and I'm like, I can't do it. No more Lost.
Some of us like soap operas and some of us don't.
And that's exactly what that is a nighttime soap opera. I was like, oh my gosh. It is.
Well, that's all I have, guys. I think we can move on, because I just wanted you to know that your face could be your next bank card.
Well, you already used your face for,
open your phone
for your phone. Yeah.
I would open my financial apps. So
well, because it did, and they ask you, do you want to use facial recognition? Nobody's going to pick up your phone and go like this, and it's going to go put in the passcode. And if they don't know the passcode, they're not getting in.
Exactly.
So I have a question. What tech are the viewers and listeners using? Are you using your facial rec? Are you using your biotech? You know, where you put your finger on the uh, fingerprint on the
You know,
device.
I haven't had to use my fingerprint. Has anybody used their fingerprint lately?
Well,
I
on
I
my
haven't.
MacBook Air, I have a place where I can put my thumbprint and it'll open up the unlock
Okay.
for me.
I don't
Uh,
have any devices that take a.
I don't either. Mine all take
Um,
facial recognition.
oh wait, I do. I have an old iPhone 6 that is just old, laying in the corner. It still takes the touch.
Ah, okay.
so I think we
Oh,
moved past the touch to facial rec. Facial rec is a lot easier. And
Hmm.
yeah,
we
you
see
just pick up your
people,
phone and
Boom, you're there.
right. And there's some people, I don't want to do that. Okay.
why?
Well, it's like the lady in the dorm in China. She just resisting. She knows tech is inevitable, she said, but it's just the principle of the thing. She just,
But the pandemic has this is how I feel about it. The pandemic has accelerated all of the
absolutely.
technology that we should have been adopting already, like the touchless,
Mhm.
cashless. Starbucks has the thing where you just you don't stand in line. You order on your phone and you go. It's ready. You just go get it. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to touch anything but the cup and the door. And you
Mhm.
don't have to speak to anybody. You wearing your mask, you go in and you get your stuff. That's how it should be. But there's a lot of resistance, and I'm not saying that this is right, but technology is the driving force globally now. Not even we're not talking about America. We're talking globally where things
Yes.
are being goods and services are being exchanged without having a human touch it. Because, like I said, with the bot, with the Android, do the math stuff. I mean, we've got robots that do surgery.
Right.
That's not new. They've been
And
doing it a while. There's IBM has IBM has a robot or Android or a bot or something that can search medical journals faster than a human. And that's what you want, because if you have a rare surgery and you need to go, I read about this in a medical journal 2 years ago. Oh, what edition? Oh, where is it? The computer does that. You go to the computer, say, okay, computer, give me the research on this surgery from 1999. Boop, it picks it up, because the surgeon doesn't have time for all of that surgery, that research. They need to do the surgery.
Well,
So,
TJ, I know
mhm,
there was one more article. It was about 3D printing of bones
yes.
for healing, where they are
Mhm.
injecting the what do you call it? Well, I wouldn't say
Mitochondria,
mixture. It just sounds so non-scientific. But
DNA.
injecting that into the bones of the people, and it is replicating and healing within the body. And I said, what?
Yes.
What? And I can pull that up if you guys want me to and share that with you. But
Well, I mean, this is why I've always been excited about the merging of technology and biometrics on
yeah,
medical. It doesn't scare me at all,
it doesn't
because
scare me.
there's other people that are afraid of, oh, you're going to take the human out of it. No, as long as there's human, there's going to be a human element. I mean,
right.
there is the potential for things to go wrong, but there's the potential for things to go right and make our lives easier. The
And
self-driving car is one.
and there's
It's
a
not
potential
perfect
for
yet.
things to go wrong with humans too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
but see, the
Right.
self-driving car isn't perfect yet, but when it's perfected, and I believe it has to do with the roadways, that they have to be
Mm.
changed in order to electronically keep the car in the lane, or whatever the technology is. We're not there yet. But when you get in a self-driving car, you're going to get in the car, say you're going to work, you're going to do your work on the way to work, or have a meeting on the way to work instead of
Mhm.
driving. Because see, that's a
Yeah.
mechanical thing that when we get it perfected, the mechanics, the Android, the car, whatever, will handle that. And that's one thing, boop, we can take out of our mind. The
Mhm.
Right.
repetitive
And and the actually the self-driving that's occurred right now is still working. It's just that a couple of few tweaks, and there was human error involved in the stuff that went
There were a
wrong.
couple accidents where people died, but that kind of thing sticks in people's mind. Oh, you could die, a couple people died, but that, like you said, that was human error. I feel like when they get the road system, the highways, where it's an electronic thing, like the subways, it runs on a third rail.
Yes.
Once you put something on the highway that's the third rail that keeps the car on track, and there's no way it can crash into another car, no way it can get off the rail, no way it can veer out of a lane, that's when you're going to see people going to go, oh, that's a good thing. Like Elon Musk and his Hyperloop?
Hyperloop, yes.
Yeah. He's on the right track. People aren't ready for it.
Okay, and see, that Hyperloop is the same thing that they've been trying to do here in California with the train that goes from Northern California to Southern California that everybody is fighting about. We don't want it. Look, I rode the regular rail from Northern to Southern California. Please give me the Hyperloop, because
I don't want to get on the bus to get over the mountains and then get back on the train. I don't want to do that.
And you have to do that.
Anything that saves us human time, where we can do the things that make us happy, it's going to be a success, people. It's just the resistance from, and it's not, I'm not picking on the older crowd. I'm just saying it's usually an older, like, over a certain age, and they're used to doing stuff manually.
Who refuse to change. And it could be young people too, like that young girl at the university who said she wasn't showing her face to get a snack in the dorm.
But see, Gen Alpha and Gen Z, they're just, they don't watch TV. They don't own a TV. They don't do it because they do everything on their device, and they found the shortcut. And we're doing it. We're doing long division, and they're like, boop boop, it's done.
See, a lot of people were like, okay, I have to do calculations for my work. I was like, give me the calculator. I am not doing this trying to do longhand on paper. I'm not doing that. I know how.
You can ask a device. That's what I love.
I say, Siri, how much is such and such divided by?
I even say, what's on TV tonight? I said, what's on TV tonight? What's the weather? What's the wind? I do all of that.
And that is why it is, Gary Vee talked about voice activation. This is the same thing that we would have in Star Trek.
Yes.
That's all that's where that Siri and Alexa and Google and all that stuff came from. Asking Star Trek or asking the computer to do such and such and such. Use it. I'm like, I have my front door lock is I can use it with my phone. And one day I said, oh, wait a minute, can I do this let me just talk to it. I told Siri to lock the front door, and it went, I was like, oh, see, now this is
you would do it.
Now
it's a mindset thing. You gotta, your mindset gotta adjust to it. That's what's going on with everything.
Now I want to say this because yesterday I was watching Dr. Oz, and he was talking about how these cameras were following people around the house. He was freaking people out about security cameras that they can see you and da. I'm like, come on, people.
It is. You have to put protocols in place so that they're safe. Those are again, that's human error, how you use it.
And maybe you don't want them in the house. Maybe you want them outside by the doorbell. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
And I'm looking at Mark. Mark has two good jokes over there.
Okay, Mark, you want to tell the jokes live? Because, by the way, I want to say hi to Tanya Tyus Parker and Lakeisha.
Hi, Tanya. How you doing?
Hey.
Dryer Buzz is here in Clubhouse. Welcome, everybody. If you all want to have something to say, you can say it. This is being recorded. But if you want to chime in, you can raise your hand and we'll let you chime in. Okay, Mark got jokes. Mark, you want to tell your jokes in person, or you want me to post them up? I'm going to put them up over here. Anyway, he says, I have a smile 350 talking about facial rec. And then he's saying it's only good talking about robots and surgery if he could sue the robot when they remove my lung instead of my appendix.
Don't worry, they'll just 3D print you a lung. It's not a problem.
They'll just make a new one.
Hilarious.
And my mom and dad always use voice activation to get things done. I was the early Siri.
I feel you.
Change the channel.
Hilarious. Just
Right.
hilarious.
So
Okay, you ready for social media?
Yes.
This week in social media.
My little hair is falling in my face. Okay. Well, this week is social media news. Let's start with Twitter. Twitter has the finest way, and I think it's trying because they're working on the Twitter Spaces, which is going to be not a copy of Clubhouse, but the same we were saying about live audio. Live audio is the thing that's growing because, like Fran said, Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned several years ago that audio was going to be the thing, and we were thinking podcast, but no. Who would have thought this live audio would take off like it has? It's just taken off. So Twitter has their spaces, and now they're announcing two new things. They have a community driven group. Well, not a group. It's going to be a separate site to address misinformation on the platform. They're calling it Bird Watch.
Oh,
So,
nice.
think about this. This Bird Watch is going to be the same as a Wikipedia. Because this is the deal. It's going to give people the power to identify misleading information in tweets and comment on it to provide context that Twitter can use to respond more quickly to the spread of misleading information. Now, this is a big thing lately coming out of the election we just had in the United States, that misinformation was flying left and right unchecked. Now we're in a period where it is going to be checked. Twitter is making this site, it's going to be separate. So it's going to be a separate thing. That's why I said think Wikipedia, because you go to Wikipedia and you look up stuff and people can add comments and things. So it's going to be like that. So Birdwatch is going to allow people to identify information in tweets, misleading tweets, and they're going to be able to write notes that provide information context as to why this is misleading information. They're going to make the notes visible on tweets for the global Twitter audience when they look at all of the comments. So you won't be able to make a comment that is false or report falsely on somebody else's tweet. There's going to be a consensus. That's why I said think Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is like an encyclopedia site where information is put up on people and topics, and it's a group community effort with editing. So anybody can come in and edit, but there's a fact checker to come back and
there is a fact checker.
Yeah, because you can put something on Wikipedia, but someone else will come up. There'll be a consensus of that's not true, so it will be removed. Because people have done that to famous people's Wikipedia, put things up, and then someone comes up. I don't know the someone. It may be a group with Wikipedia itself. They come and they correct the information. So what it is, we're trying to keep misleading and false information off of social media, and we're doing it community style. That's it in a nutshell.
That's nice.
Well, okay. So, but my concern is which community. So when consensus is reached, it's not always.
But see, it's going to be the community of Twitter users, but there'll always be Twitter to come through and say and correct it if it's not corrected properly.
So Twitter will be the fact checker.
Yeah, but see, that's how Wikipedia works. Anybody can edit Wikipedia entries, but then there's someone that comes along and says that's not true, and they correct it, so it won't stay. If somebody puts up information, if they're trying to mislead,
got it.
So it's going to be checked. But they're starting a site to where we can go, a repository of sorts. That's why I said Wikipedia is a repository. It's an area where you can go and look up a fact and a figure or something on famous people or whatever, and you can get the gist of it. It may not be factually correct because people will come in and correct it. So Twitter is doing that.
Okay,
that's one thing.
That's good. I like that approach.
Yeah, so it's a start. I mean, we got to start somewhere. So Twitter's starting. We applaud them for that. Also, Twitter has acquired Review, It's an email newsletter service that lets people write and publish newsletters. And I had an account on Review, but I didn't use it maybe 2 years ago. Review has been out a while. It's REVUE, Review. And you could basically start your own newsletter service and have people subscribe. And also there was a paid option, like you could, put up a tier where people could pay for, say, the VIP part of your newspaper, like your newsletter. Like TechCrunch has TechCrunch, and then TechCrunch has Extra Crunch, and you have to pay for the Extra Crunch, and there's more in-depth stories. So it's like that. So they bought Review. They've integrated it into Twitter, so we have it for free. We don't have to pay. And also, so it's going to be on the mobile app, and it's going to be on the desktop. Now it's rolling out. I've seen some people saying that they have the Review Twitter section, and some people don't. I haven't seen it yet. I've been checking for it because, like I said, I have Review, and I went into my Review account, and they had a note for me about being bought by Twitter and all of the things that's going to happen.
So
go ahead.
Okay, so is Review kind of like Nuzzle?
Yes, but it's better because Nuzzle kind of takes stuff from people you follow on Twitter. Review is you can add any story you want from wherever with a link.
All right. And that's good to know, because I might switch up our Nuzzle, because Nuzzle is integrated with our Twitter account anyway. So I might just cut out the middleman and just
you might. This might be a blow for Nuzzle. It's to be seen. Like I said, I've been looking for it. I had a Review account. I just never got started on it because I was using Nuzzle also. Now, here's some background on Review. They were founded in 2015 in the Netherlands, and they said they have 6 employees. It's a small operation. They have some, let's say, Chicago Sun-Times and the Verge publisher Vox Media uses the service. There's another person I follow on Facebook that he has a Review, but it's excuse me, it was a standalone, and now it's still a standalone, but Twitter is integrating it into the Twitter app. So you'll be able to set up a newsletter, and newsletter is curation of news and topics that you feel that your followers would want to know about. So, if you're in jewelry and you want to, talk about that, there's different topics about that. Whatever niche you're in, what to share. The sources that talk, like mine are TechCrunch and Verge and like Social Media Marketing World and stuff like that. So I share information from those sources. And let's see, what else is so they're integrating it. It says it should be listed on the sidebar navigation on the website if you use the web, next to bookmarks, moments, Twitter ads, and the other options. So they are also working on a way to promote these products to Twitter users. So this is another way to reach your audience and possibly get paid, because there will be a paid option. So you have to figure out the strategy to get people onto the paid option if you want to do that. So those are the 2 things from Twitter. Any comments about that?
No, I think Twitter is looking to be a little more well-rounded. I still, I don't know what they're going to say. Did they say anything about can we still tweet live, or what's the?
Oh, you mean there hasn't been any word about what they're going to do with Periscope, but I just realized that Twitter bought Periscope and it's integrated already. So when you do a Periscope live, it goes to Twitter automatically. So really, the app is going away. Just the app, not the features.
Okay.
So you'll still go live in Twitter.
Yeah, and
we've been doing that already.
Right. And I could see, like, on our StreamYard account, so Periscope is still sitting up there, but when it goes away, it'll probably just say Twitter, because you connected your Twitter account to StreamYard, not necessarily to Periscope. It was, yeah. Okay.
We're just waiting for the official word, but I mean, I'm just saying unofficially, you already go live on Twitter if you do Periscope. You've already gone live. The integration is there. The backbone, the system is there for going live to Twitter.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll see. Unofficially or officially, we're waiting for news from Twitter to what they're going to do when they sunset and close the Periscope app. So, but I wouldn't worry. I'm not worried because
They cut the lights off.
go to Twitter. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. No. So let's move on to I call what I call this Facebook world, the Death Star. They got so many things going on. What? Okay, so there was a big to do about WhatsApp the last few weeks about privacy and data and this and that. So now WhatsApp is requiring a fingerprint or Face ID to use the desktop app because you can use WhatsApp on the desktop.
Mm-hmm.
It works a little differently from the app, but they're adding another layer of security. So it's to keep others from accessing your account when you're not looking.
Oh, that's good.
So they're going to require, this is what WhatsApp is saying, they're going to require biometric authentication, such as a fingerprint or Face ID, before you can use the service on your desktop.
Okay,
now, what's different about this is that Facebook Messenger and other things, they work with username and password, but WhatsApp accounts are tied to a phone number. So there's the potential for spoofing, for phishing, for someone to get access to your WhatsApp and pretend to be you on the desktop. So they're saying we're going to add an additional layer of security if you use WhatsApp on the desktop.
Okay, my question is, your desktop has to be able to, you have to be able to put that in somewhere unless they are going to use your camera.
They have a QR code for you to scan. There's a QR code that is scanned on the desktop that connects to your WhatsApp. I've seen it. It's the desktop WhatsApp is not as functional as using it on the phone. This is just like a layer of security so people can't go through your computer somehow and get to your WhatsApp and then, control it that way. Versus versus them not having a phone. They're closing the door, so to speak.
Well, that was good. Is the horse out already and now we're closing the barn door? Okay.
Good morning, first of all.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. But if I don't know what, maybe I'm the only one, but am I the only person that gets the willies when you hear this?
Taji, we were just talking about all of that face recognition stuff at the top of the hour. We were getting into it because Terralina had a story. You want to recap?
Just a story about a woman in Southern California who was able to pay at the restaurant by showing her face and not touching the screen. So it did facial recognition and it was attached to her bank account and it paid them. And then if she wanted to leave a tip, she could do finger signals like a peace sign, and that would stand for a certain amount of tip or, okay. And that would, so all of this in a touchless environment, but all about facial recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, which shows that that's why I'm not the key. I think I see the promise in it, but the problem is there are still too many imperfections when it comes to using biometric data, outside of fingerprints and things, but there's still too many what ifs. I mean, look at all there's still a problem in terms of facial recognition and recognizing Black people.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a huge issue.
It is an issue. Mm-hmm. Well, Donna's in here. Donna says it's too creepy over here.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, Donna. Yeah.
Good to see. Good to hear from you.
I had forgotten about that, Dr. Tachi. The fact that, that there were some issues with different demographics. Is that
say it, Black people?
Yeah.
with them being able to recognize our features, etc., because it wasn't geared toward minorities.
And that's the problem. It's the same thing with anything technological, whether it's a vaccine, whether it is, anything that's tech related. The default is usually non-melanated individuals.
Right.
And so, as such, things become geared for them, and it leaves everybody else out of the. And therefore, it becomes problematic when you have things like somebody going into the Apple store and getting arrested because they thought it was this person and it was completely wrong.
Right.
So that shows that you shouldn't be relying on that, fully for recognition or paying or any of that type of stuff. Now, I don't know what ethnicity this woman was that you were talking about, but it's problematic for the general public not to talk of specific individuals.
Yep.
Yes. Let me put it this way: she was not Black. Okay.
Okay. So I mean, even worse. So it shows they need to do there's work that needs to be done before you have even think about paying with your face. I don't trust it right now, and it's because of things like that.
Oh, Donna says she has to go. Donna, thank you for stopping by.
Bye, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
All right, so back to Facebook world, as I call them. So now Facebook had their fourth quarter earnings call, and Zuckerberg is promising that Facebook will show less political content from now on. Ooh, you think? So what they're going to do, this is Zuckerberg's point of view, they're looking at ways to diminish the amount of overall political content that users see in their news feed, and will stop recommending civic and political groups to its users in an effort to turn down the temperature and discourage divisive conversations. Is it too little, too late, you think?
Well,
Yes.
I didn't know they were making suggestions. What kind of suggestions was they making over there?
No, there's always a suggestion. When you're in a certain group, you will see on the side, or it will pop up saying, you like this group. Do you want to join this group?
And it will ask you, do you want to see more
Like this.
When I'm in my social media groups, if there's another social media group that I'm not a member of,
when you're in the group. Okay. When you're in the group.
So right.
Even with content, they ask you, do you want to see more stuff like this when it comes up in your feed? And you can say, I don't want to see more stuff like this, and you can turn it off.
Right.
But I don't think they listened to us when we were saying we don't want to see the political stuff.
Stop it.
So here's a quote. This is Zuckerberg. There's been a trend across society that a lot of things have become politicized, and politics have had a way of creeping into everything. He said one of the top pieces of feedback that Facebook receives is that Facebook is hearing that people don't want politics and fighting to take over their experience. So they're looking.
Okay.
Now, he didn't give any details. He didn't give any concrete details about how exactly Facebook is going to do that.
Hold on a minute, TJ. We got dryer buzz. Go ahead, ma'am.
Here's my question, and T, please help me out with this. When are we as Black women going to wonder if Zuckerberg was out there selling our vote? Because if you remember, or I don't know if y'all remember, but when this whole political thing came down, the vote that they were hoping that they would have some that they would switch, right, was the Black woman vote. That 91%, right? And when you are saying that you are a platform that could have some political impact, wouldn't you say that you could help sway the top of the large body of voters, right? And we know that the whole thing that they label as, the Russian invasion, they literally came out with fake personas of Black women. So when do we hold Facebook accountable for taking money to persuade? And it wasn't legally that they did this, because this was supposed to be an invasion of sorts, right? These were fake accounts. People got hijacked and all that. When do we say to Facebook, what was your role in trying to corrupt the vote of Black women? And it is literally a corruption. And I think that they should have to answer to that, amongst the many other things that they are now having to answer to. And it's not enough to just say now, after, all this highly contested elections, that you're not going to, participate, because we know that'll change in the next 2 years. We got to go back. But I want to know, when do we hold them accountable for allowing this kind of invasion to happen where it pertains to Black women in voting?
Well, I feel like we have to speak up and make our voices heard somehow. I don't know how, but as long as we use Facebook and not say anything, I think that that's a part of it. I mean, that's just how I see it, that somehow we got to get together. And it's always been hard to get together and say, okay, this group is going to call out that business or that platform and say this, that, and the other. And that's a whole part of the conversation that's going on, especially with conservative people who use Facebook, who are leaving, and they're going, I'm going to Parler. Parler got shut down. Then there's a new one they have now called Clapper, and they're going over there. So it's like ants trying to find an anthill. Like, where can we go to say what we have to say? But these platforms, we have to use them, but we don't like to use them. Kind of like
that. My take is you don't have to use it, but what I learned about trying to get everybody to do it as a group, it's not going to be that easy. Each individual person is going to have to say, I don't want to listen to this.
Yep.
Doing it as a group is going to be hard.
Yes, I agree.
Each individual person is going to need to take responsibility, go in there and do whatever it is, however you want it to go. You tell them what you don't like. They gave you the option to do that. I don't want to see more of this. Okay. And if you keep saying it, at some point they should listen. But again, this is their stuff.
Right. And I've always said you need to curate your feed. I mean, we shouldn't have to. Facebook should take their responsibility, which they're doing now. I'm saying too little, too late. That ship has sailed. The election is over and that person is gone, hopefully. But like Fran said, there's some responsibility with us. That's either don't use the app, or I don't see any political stuff because I've blocked or unfollowed those kind of people that are saying harsh things. Not that I'm saying I'm suppressing their voice. I'm curating my feed because I signed up for Facebook to use it the way I want to. Nobody can tell me how to use it. So I don't want to follow the people that have the drama. I don't want to follow people that do this or say this or that kind of tone was argumentative. I have pleasant people on my feed, so I'm happy with that.
Right. You can always leave the room like,
yeah. So I know Taji has to weigh in, or Go ahead. I don't want to call her out.
Well, there are some hearings coming up, right, Taji?
Oh yeah, no, there are always hearings coming up, but they're still. I mean, they haven't really come to a definitive decision from really the last time. So the thing is, there are no repercussions for Zuckerberg because nothing ever happens. Anytime this conversation comes up, whether it's privacy or holding him accountable for something, nothing ever happens. So, the thing is, we could together as a group come and hold him accountable. What is really going to change? The only way to really be done with it is to be done with it. Stop using the app. That's really the only thing that these people, them folk, understand is bottom line. And if it's somehow hurting their bottom line, then perhaps they'll make a change or if there's too much societal pressure or government pressure, then perhaps a change will be made. But for the most part, I don't see, it's not, Yolanda, I really don't see it happening because en masse, Black women or nobody else will hold him accountable for, quote, selling the vote or whatever. Nobody's going to hold him accountable. And I don't think people really think about it now because the vote kind of went, in a sense, their way or our way. So there's no incentive now to do something about it because we think we're safe for now.
Right.
And I'm using safe in air quotes because you're never safe. Your seat is never safe.
Right. There's the illusion of safety, which we all want. We all want that, like the illusion of safety. So it's like you don't want to pull the rug up and see what's under there. Because like Taji said, the vote went our way, so we're happy now and waiting to see what the new administration is going to do. If they're going to stick up with their promises, they're not perfect. No politician, nothing in politics is perfect. It needs to be fixed. but who's going to fix it? Like what's going on with Congress now? They need to self-govern themselves, and they're not doing a good job of it. So, like Tati says, we need. Yeah, it would be nice to get together, but I don't see it happening. That would be the only way to be a political pact, Black women or whatever, and say this is what we're going to vote or act as a group in the best interest of the group. So we have to do that first.
I think there's also not enough education. I mean, there's education, but it's not getting through to the people. If you think about it, when it comes to the vote and when it comes to social media and the vote and those types of things, who's really listening amongst the people that use or among the people that use social media? Who's really listening? If it's not a TikToker, but a TikToker or a Instagrammer, are they really paying attention? And I'm really specifically thinking of the lower end of millennials and Gen Z. There are some that are very woke and very much paying attention to politics and how it affects social media and everything else. But then there are those who just want to be there and use it and really don't care. The same ones, these are the ones, if you unfortunately read some of the comments under, these are some of the people that are making uninformed statements. It's like, oh, please don't speak again. So, But though looking at their comments lets you know how little they know about politics, how little they know about civics. And, often they may not care. So It's going to have to be the W.E.B. Du Bois, the talented 10th, the 10% of the people who are enlightened to lift everybody else. Is it right? No, because the 10% are tired. But that's usually what happens.
Yeah, they're tired. Charlie, did you want to?
No, I raised my hand on tired. I am past that mental.
Okay.
So just to reset the room, we are talking tech this week, and up now is This Week in Social Media, what has been happening. We talked about Twitter. We are now on Facebook.
Yeah, there's one more thing I want to mention about Facebook. Facebook is continuing to lose users in the US and Canada. Now, this is tied to their fourth quarter earnings call. They reported 28.07 billion of revenue. Their global base is continuing to grow with 1.84 billion daily active users worldwide, but there are signs of they're saying the signs of user fatigue with the biggest core markets, which is the United States and Canada. Daily active users dropped from 196 million in the third quarter to 195 million in the fourth quarter. Now that doesn't sound like a big disparity in the numbers, but it really is, because this is a decline. This is a trend in declining, because it's the second quarter where their daily active users in North America have gone down. So they're saying that Facebook has a problem, and Facebook knows about this. They've had a problem for years with the youth not wanting to be, like I said, if grandma's on Facebook, I ain't there. You know where they are. They're on TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. So Facebook is trying to do all of these things to keep their, come to us, but Facebook is stagnant with no real innovation tools to bring in that younger crowd. They do have the reels, but we said last week, the CEO of Instagram, they know they have a problem, because TikTok is their biggest competitor, and there's more to come. There's Triller is getting ready to do a Super Bowl ad, so they're going to grow. There's Byte is doing something this week. I forgot what it was. They got bought by another app. But these things are happening, and you're not the Death Star. You're the Death Star, and somebody's coming along to take you out. Facebook. So they know they have a problem, but the numbers aren't lying and saying that the trend for Gen Alpha, Gen Z, the younger crowd, they're moving away from Facebook in droves. The numbers are showing it. So what do you think about that?
I want to take a quick moment to welcome Enrica to the clubhouse.
Hey, Enrica.
Hello, Enrica.
Hiya.
She's listening. If you want to chime in and say anything, you can raise your hand and we'll bring you up to the stage and you can chime in on anything. We are recording this, so we'll need to let you know that as well. Okay, what else we got going on, TJ?
Okay, so there's a little bit with Instagram. Let me wrap this up. We don't want to keep it too long. So Instagram has announced a new professional dashboard to help business accounts and creator accounts make better decisions, track their performance, access professional tools. The new dashboard is there on your profile. If you have a business profile or a creator, not the personal one, you will see the text at the top that says, I had a graphic, but I'm not going to pull up. It says view professional dashboard. And this is where you go to track your performance with insights and trends, what's going on with your account. You can have tools to run your account more efficiently, build your business, check monetization status and eligibility. I can't get the word out. Eligibility. Yes, tripping over that word today. Okay. And it has a collection of curated educational resources, tips, tricks, guidance, and inspiration to help you grow your presence on Instagram. So Instagram is giving out this new dashboard, and I've seen it on mine. It's a good little place to go to see your insights and what's going on with your Instagram profile. Also, Instagram has rolled out a new content publishing API. It supports scheduling and publishing single photo or video posts, not carousel posts. This is something a lot of people have been asking because Instagram has been notoriously, we know that they don't like third-party anything. So they're giving out this API, and an API is just, a collection of code or a little bit of software that allows another third-party app to connect seamlessly to Instagram without having to ask all the time. So it's like a direct plug into Instagram from other third-party apps that let you schedule posts.
So we won't have to use the third. Oh, that's pretty good.
It's saying each Instagram business account will be limited to 25 API published posts within a 24-hour moving period. So they don't want you to keep, slamming it with posts up to 25. And
who's posting 25 things a day?
I don't know, but that's what went through my mind.
I'm in a lot of social media manager groups, and the things they ask for, I'm like, you want everything, don't you? Because they want to set it and forget it. But
and they want it to swirl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things that they want. And here's the quote. We've heard from businesses that they don't publish content to Instagram spontaneously, but rather plan their posts ahead of time to best connect with their audience. Some businesses also plan their posts across distributed teams with complex approval processes. So this API will help them easily plan campaigns and, help them work with their teams on posting.
So now you don't have to go into Facebook Creator Studio to do that because
this is for people who are like I said, they're social media teams for big corporations. They're not posting spontaneously one post. They got tons of things to post, so they were finding it tedious to use the tools that we use. But I'm saying if you're a small business owner, you don't really need that 25 posts a day thing because you're not going to post 25 posts a day. You're going to do one or two. We talked about that on Tuesday. So yes, use the business creator studio on Facebook. Use the app. There's some other Instagram third party like Later and Planoy, and there's other things you can use if you need to see more out. But
Hootsuite.
that's what's going on with Instagram. Did I have it? I think I have one more thing, but I can't find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh yeah, well I'll mention this. Snapchat has a new digital literacy program aimed at educating the users about issues about data privacy and security, because that's a big thing. Like Tati was saying, these younger kids, they're not educated on stuff and they don't really care. So Snapchat wants to help its user database understand the risks involved with using apps and going on the web and being more aware about security and privacy on the internet. And I had one more. I can't find it. I got so much stuff here. So that's it.
Okay, so have you all heard about Marco Polo? I know it was out before.
Marco.
Marco Polo is an app that's kind of works like a walkie-talkie. We tried it before.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I remember now.
I remember.
So they have a new part to it. It's called channels, where people who are doing like courses, or maybe you want to connect with your community, you can have a channel on the Marco Polo app, and people can come in, and the people can come in and come to your channel, right?
Oh, really?
The Marco Polo app, I went in there because somebody invited me to go do something, not to their channel, but just to go in to use Marco Polo. I was like, oh, I need to get out of here. Because when you try to, because I had it, and you know how you get the little thing that shows you that all you got to do is re-download it?
Yeah.
There's a reason why I didn't have this. You go in, and it's video. So I would send a video message to Terry, and she can respond back, or she can respond back later via video. Well, I didn't want to do video because I wasn't camera ready. So can I send her a note, like a text, or can I send her just a picture in my voice, just audio? Oh, you had to upgrade for that. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Really? I thought it started out as audio.
No, it's video.
Oh.
It was a little clunky to me, and I was like, so, but I think maybe the channels portion of it might work for some people, but the regular Marco Polo, I was like, I can't do it. So I did not call any of y'all on Marco Polo. I didn't want y'all to be mad. And maybe
Now, my question is, would I have to have the app to receive it? Because I'm sure if I had it, I'm sure I deleted it.
Yeah, you would have to have the app to respond.
I probably couldn't respond because I'm sure it's one of the ones that I wasn't using. So
it was interesting. Apparently, there's a lot of people who are using it, and I was just like, okay.
Yep, I have some people in my life who refer to it.
I don't know. I like Clubhouse because I thought Clubhouse was going to be kind of like the Marco Polo thing. Clubhouse is a lot easier.
Yes.
Marco Polo is just not easy. I'm like, do what? Wait.
How is it doing? How is it doing? Because one thing people don't need any more of is clunky, cumbersome apps.
Yeah. And I did not like the fact that if I just wanted to send you a voice message, because I thought it would be great just to push a button, hey Terry, do such and such and such and such, and then have you respond later back. But
you know, we already have that within so many apps.
Well,
we got it on our phone, we can leave a voice message. We got it in Messenger. Yeah.
And you just send a message, hey,
you can send a video message.
And I was like, this is not necessary.
And now I gotta pay you to do that? Okay.
It wasn't necessary. Mark got jokes up here. He said Francine got caught unprepared for $29.95. Gain access to these exclusive videos.
$29.95 per what? Forever or?
I don't know. So anyway,
it's smart.
Mark he's got jokes over there. Yeah, so it was just really interesting, and I was like, okay, is it making a resurgent, and who's using it? Because I think it was being looked at where you want to have a group where, you know how you have groups with Facebook, and you can post a video over there for them to watch later. You can go into the group and the group can watch it later, or they can get an audio message and watch it later or whatever.
Okay.
Well, the people that want to do that are not on Facebook. So how do you do that off of Facebook? And Marco Polo was one of the apps that was suggested where you have a community of people, your community. Maybe we can have all the biz chicks, hey, check out what's happening over there instead of having them in a group over here. you have them on an app that you control.
Okay.
Then it was interesting. But that first foray going in, I was like, whoa, how come I can't just leave a message and upgrade to do that? Okay, can I send a note? Upgrade to do. I was like, I'm out.
Okay.
Wow.
So those two things were a problem. But for the people who are doing coaching or whatever, and they want a place for all their community to be together, not on Facebook, where do you go?
Zoom, but go ahead. Zoom or to a room or wherever.
Well, Zoom is the spot. So, you know, and I think it's a little bit better because you own whatever you record to Zoom, and you get to keep that. You can download it. You have the names of the people who went into the Zoom room.
Okay, you can chat. You can see each other, whatever you choose.
You can't do it later. You have to be in the room with them. Do you understand what I mean? You can't leave the room. That was the challenge, where you can, like on groups, you can be in the group, leave a message, people can come and go into the group, the message would still be there, whatever that message was, video, audio, or whatever. You go in and out of the room, and it's asynchronous. Is that the word I'm looking for? Using big words today. Where it's on its own. Zoom is not asynchronous. You can't just go in there. So somebody needs to come up with something. They came up with facial rec to buy coffee. Somebody could come up with something to do that.
No, I'm just saying. I think they already have, but it's not on Marco Polo. But go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Fauci, you are up. What's happening in media? And we got Jill over in the clubhouse joining us.
Jill.
Hey, Jill.
Welcome, Jill. Oh, is it my turn now? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. What did Mark say?
I don't know. Mark has not said anything. He hasn't typed anything, but he's over here on Clubhouse too.
Cutting up, huh? Anyway, hey, I hope you all are doing well. Let's talk a little bit about some media. You probably broached it, but I'm going to say it again. I'm sure everyone knows by now that Cicely Tyson passed away yesterday. The great Cicely Tyson. She was amazing. 96 years old, had just done an interview last week with Gayle King. Book just dropped. Nobody had any clue that this is the way it was going to go. She looked vibrant and healthy and ready to go another 96 years. But, unfortunately, she passed away at the age of 96. She was just wonderful, a great actress. She didn't have an EGOT, but she did have an Emmy, a Tony, and an Oscar. Wow. So she just didn't have the Grammy, but she wasn't quite an EGOT winner, but almost there.
And
she
looked fantastic. I know some 50-year-olds that don't look that good.
When I found out how old she was, I was stunned. Yeah.
Like 96. She's looking real good.
She looked fantastic. So she was wonderful. And the thing is, I'm a dancer and I always post for Dance Friday. And I said, well, I need to post something of her dancing. And I didn't know for sure, but I knew that she had the presence of a dancer. And because she did Broadway, I'm like, okay, I know something's in there. Well, she was a founding member of the Dance Theater of Harlem, a founding member, a founding board member of the Dance Theater of Harlem. So she had, dance was in her spirit, and I posted something of her dancing, and Maxwell was singing. So she also did have a very great dance spirit. So that was a nice Dance Friday thing to find. So rest well, Queen. You will be surely missed. Also, moving on from that, Cloris Leachman also passed away. She passed away like the day before. I'm like, what's going on? But Cloris Leachman was 94. So these people lived quite a long life. She was a wonderful actress, funny as all get out too. So
Right.
I used to love her on Rhoda. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. On Rhoda, she was also she was the what the nosy neighbor on Rhoda or the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so she was fantastic. And that's really and here's the thing. She did not really do her get breakout. Both of she and Cecily Tyson in terms of really being breakout stars. Her that first role was when she was 40. So she had done some things before, but in terms of being a breakout star, not till she was 40. So rest well to Cloris Leachman as well. So let's talk a couple of things. I talked about these things on Wednesday on Mediascope, but I'll rehash them here because
Okay.
some of you may not have heard. Bridgerton phenomenon.
What's up with that?
I saw it.
Did you see it?
I saw the first episode of it. I was like, wow, this is a turn.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's wildly popular. They've already been green lighted for season 2. I don't know if it's green lit or green lighted, but they've been approved to have a season 2. And on top of that, Bridgerton is now the most watched new series in Netflix history.
Really?
Yes.
I keep seeing the promos. Go ahead. Proceed. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So it reached a record 82 million households around the world.
Oh.
82 million households chose to tune in to Bridgerton in the first 28 days since it debuted on Christmas Day. Now, here's the thing with that. And, we can argue about this, but Netflix counts a view as having watched 3 minutes of it.
Oh.
So it's either 2 or 3 minutes. So my thing is like, well, yes, it is a view, but what do you really get of the story in 2 minutes, or 3 minutes? So that's like basically the intro.
You get to form an opinion, right? Whether or not you want to see the rest of it.
So yeah, exactly. The better metric would be how many people watched for at least 10 minutes. Why am I saying 10 minutes? Because by that point, you're starting to get a gist of the story arc and what's happening.
Right.
So that to me is a better metric of whether or not somebody really was into the story and stuck with it. So yeah, 200 million people can tune in. That doesn't mean all 200 people.
Point real quick, Tasha, I hate to interrupt. Because I've been following Bridgerton and I'm on Twitter, and there's a whole group of people really excited about it. I saw more than a few people said they've watched it at least 6 times.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, the whole thing, like 6 times.
Oh, you mean the whole series?
The whole, was it 8 episodes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was either 8 or 10, but
right.
I
that have rewatched the series like more than once.
We got a comment here from Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Is the metric just using episode 1, or are they looking at the whole series?
Okay, now that is a really, really good question. They don't say. They don't say whether it was episode 1 or the entire series. Now, I can't really see one person watching 3 minutes of each of the episodes if you've already decided you don't want to watch it, right? So I'm guessing it's probably off of the premiere episode.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know for 100% sure.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
Say this. I bet that ABC is crying into their pillow that they didn't hear that.
And bloody good for them. That's exactly what they get. All she asked was, could I get another pass for my sister and the kids to go to Disney, $142, and the idiot that told her no also had the nerve to say, don't you have enough? No, which I don't. That's wwhy I'm going to Netflix. Good for him. I hope he's bloody fired. What happened?
I said it's the principle of the thing. It's not about the value that is, because she could buy 100,000 of these passes, but it was the fact that I am your top earner. My products, my series is the driver, one of the driving force for ABC, and this is how the executive treats me. Like they're jealous of her success, or they're jealous of her talent or skill, and to say the thing, "Don't you have enough?" I would respond, "No, I don't have enough. How about I want all of what you have too?" That's it. Because that's the attitude. It was the attitude of the response to the ask, not the ask itself. With Shonda.
Right. No, it was almost like saying, "Excuse me, uppity Negro, we've
Yeah.
already given you XYZ. Don't you have enough?" How very
You're
dare
making
No, I don't
more
have
than enough for a color girl. Go buy your own ticket.
Exactly. All right, now go on. How very dare you? And so it's like that's the moment when she was like, "Get me over to Netflix."
Yep.
You have to know to have those kind of that kind of strength. You have to know your worth. You can't have imposter syndrome. You have to say. And my thing is like, did you ask anybody else that? Did you ask
No.
any of the other executives? Don't you have enough? No. It was reserved for her. I mean, we don't know what transpires, but with a 99.9% of certainty using the factor X, I can say that they probably did not ask other people. In fact, I'm sure the person who asked took several liberties and has taken several $142 passes to Disney for his own use. So, sit down, shut up, and be. How about
And
that?
see, Shonda was asking for a perk that she's seen other things happen between the executives that they've gotten this and that, and the little ask that it's a little ask. And for you to deny it to me and then say, well, don't you have enough? Like Taji said, you uppity. No. I take offense to that and I'm taking myself and I'm leaving.
Yeah, just ugly.
And this is why even if you don't like and I love the series, but even if you don't happen to love the series, relish in the fact that she went somewhere else and is flourishing. It has everything to do with her talent and nothing to do with wretched ABC. So now you can play reruns of whatever. I mean, you know how many series she has had for them that have. So play your reruns. I hope you're very happy with your no content or your lackluster content.
Everybody who is listening here on Clubhouse, we are also simultaneously doing a recording of our programming over on live stream. And we are talking about this week in media. We covered several topics. And so we want to say hi to Shannon, who's in the room listening in. Shannon and Jill are listening in. And we want to say welcome and thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. What else is happening?
Interrupted.
No worries. I'll keep going and I'll say it in the voice that Zoom usually did. This meeting is being recorded. Just so you So lots of other stuff going on. I am in love with Ava DuVernay. She is such a prolific filmmaker, just wonderful. And she has actually signed an exclusive podcast deal with Spotify. Come on, Spotify. We're bringing famous people on. Now, I made this musing. I don't like to really say predictions because sometimes they're wrong. So I have some media musings for this year. And one of them is that this is the year of audio, but not only the year of audio, but the year of live audio. So when we talk about audio, podcasts are big. I said 7 years ago that podcasts are the new black. They continue to be the new black. And now with live audio, that is the newer black, or the blacker black, shall we say. The blackest black.
The blackest black.
Yes, exactly. Blackety black. Okay. So she has signed this exclusive deal. She is just the latest celebrity to sign a deal with Spotify. If you don't know Ava DuVernay, let me help you. Selma, A Wrinkle in Time, When They See Us, right? So she also did a great independent film at the beginning of her career called Middle of Nowhere, which is really, really great. Yeah, so DuVernay said this in a statement, recognizing the undeniable power of voice and sound. I am thrilled to extend Array's storytelling into the realm of podcasts. Now, Array is her production collective that she has. So she's going to be focusing on giving voice to to diverse voices and underrepresented voices. So you'll hear all sorts of things coming out of there. So now she is going to work with Gimlet Media. Now, Gimlet, remember, was bought last year by Spotify. They bought Gimlet Media and Anchor at the same time. So she's going to be working with Brooklyn-based Gimlet and yeah, so there should be some great stuff coming out of there. So just to give you a few other people that Spotify signed with, the Obamas and their production studio Higher Grounds, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Remember I said they have a podcasting outfit? They do, called Archwell Audio. You got to make money somehow. You're no longer really royal. And then the Joe Rogan Experience and Bill Simmons's pop culture and sports focused media brand called The Ringer. So those are just a few people. So look for more partnerships, celebrity partnerships between Spotify and celebrities, I should say. But she's the latest.
Speaking of celebrity partnerships, on the Apple Fit, they have walking series now with different artists. So like you can walk with Draymond Green from the Warriors, Shawn Mendes, Dolly Parton. And so they curated music that you can walk to on the walk. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like it popped up, take a walk with Shawn Mendes. I'm like, okay, one, I need to know who he is, but okay. But you get to walk with these different people. Celebrity walks. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Wow. Yeah, if you're into that type of thing, that could definitely be a draw. And there are definitely people that are into celebrities and follow celebrities and that type of thing. I think it's really cool for me personally. Because I've never been that type. I've never been like a groupie type of person. So I think it's, yeah. So, even with, there are a lot of celebrities that are on Clubhouse. I'm not clamoring to get into rooms and stuff with them because that usually means there are 25,000 people in there and you're just listening. And I think it's cool to listen in. You don't always have to talk, but sometimes the most prolific conversations come from those small, intimate rooms. And I like those. So,
like ours.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was getting at. Let's talk AMC. Poor AMC. Poor AMC, but not so poor AMC anymore. There's a couple of stories I want to talk about with AMC. So I don't know if you heard about it, but their stock surged.
I made some money on AMC. I ain't mad at them.
Did you? Okay, because of Reddit, because of people that were hyping it up on Reddit. So they were at 3 weeks ago, they were trading at $2.10. $2.10 a share. Okay. They then probably last week went up to $5. Okay, you made $3 a share. By this week, by Wednesday, they opened at $20 a share. Just over $20 a share. That's a 300% increase.
And it freaked me out.
What the hell's going on here, right?
It had just been laying over there in my Cash App. And I don't read Reddit.
Right.
So I'm looking at it and I'm going, what? Let me sell this joker right now.
Well, I hope you did. And I hope you made some good money. Because,
I got out. Don't be greedy, people. Don't be greedy. Go ahead.
Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. So that's it. And the same thing with GameStop. GameStop was in that whole thing too. That their shares doubled on Wednesday to $347.51 a share. And again, Reddit. So there are people on Reddit that were talking about and hyping it up, and it translated to Wall Street. So that's what's happened. AMC has since gone back to, I guess, more reasonable levels. But yeah, Wednesday it was at $20.31 per share. And AMC shares have not traded above 20 since September of 2018. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, why is this happening? Reddit, yes. But there's something else that happened too. AMC raised $917 million in funding. So would that, in addition to Reddit, of course, people, okay, well, they've got some skin, they've got some money now, because initially AMC said that they were going to run out of money by early this year. Now they said any talks of bankruptcy or filing for bankruptcy are off the table because they've been able to raise $917 million.
Wow.
Now, where they got it, I don't know. What they're going to do with it, I don't know. all I would say is don't spend it all in one place, because for an outfit of that size, 917 million can go quite quickly if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a lot to us, but not when you're running like a multi-million-dollar corporation.
And you've been running at a deficit for quite some.
Correct. So really, you might only have 400 million. Let's be clear. So you may not. That's what they've raised, but that's probably not what they're working with. They're still going to need, and I'm saying that they're still going to need a definite plan in terms of how they're going to proceed. People, theaters especially, are really holding on to hope that, especially because of this vaccine, that business as usual will happen. My friends, there is no business as usual anymore. Business as usual has left the building. This is business as usual. People are going to be, if it's not COVID, it's going to be some other form of cooties. People are going to be
I love it.
cooties.
Cooties.
Because let's be clear, even before COVID, these places were bloody filthy, okay? Yeah. I used to hate to go to the theater. I'm like, why is the floor sticky? And why has it been sticky since yesterday or last week when I came? And it's still sticky. So they, albeit they're probably much more diligent now in terms of...
They have plenty of time to clean.
And I bet you the floor is still sticky.
Well, yeah, they can't solve that problem.
Exactly. Oh just so the whole thing. But I think that these places were filthy really to begin with. It's just that we weren't thinking about this because there were no major illnesses going around. But now we're starting to think about this. And in modern times, we haven't had like this worldwide of a serious pandemic. We have not. And so I think it's making people take a second look at being indoors, being around large crowds of people when you don't have to, especially...
You know what come to my mind, Tachi, is seat covers. Maybe they'll hand out seat covers in the future. Those things that you just to get people more comfortable.
Yes, absolutely. But unless those seat covers will then also envelop you in a cocoon.
Oh, like at the concert where the people were in the bubbles?
Yeah. I think there'll be people who want to go out and do these things, obviously, but an overwhelm. It's funny. I was just speaking to somebody today and they were talking about an event that usually happens, a big event. And what they did is they sent out surveys to their normal supporters who normally come, asking them, if we did this in May, would you come? And they said the majority said no. And this is something that happens outdoors, at an outdoor venue. And so that just goes to show you that the public still does not have a lot of confidence, vaccine or not, in gathering again. And we haven't had any reason to have confidence.
We're not ready.
We're not ready.
And we know that this is going to take time to roll it out.
Take time. It's going to take time to roll it out. So, AMC and the theater exhibition industry that is looking for things to get back to normal, there is no more normal. So even after, you say there's the herd immunity thing happens and we have significantly reduced numbers of COVID-19 to deal with, I think people will still take a second and third thought before actually gathering. So you need to understand what your new normal is going to be. I keep saying this every week, and every week you all don't listen. So I'm going to stop saying it and let you figure that out, AMC.
We've had almost 10 months to figure out how to get something from it was in real life to virtual. So these laggards.
They blew the drive-in theater thing, Terry. They blew the drive-in theater opportunity.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like Tachi was saying, with having the in-person events, something the event in May, but you had time to figure it out because people were at the beginning of the pandemic are going, oh, when we get back to normal. And I'm like, no, you better start doing your plan now because it's also, a year or two.
Also, I think, Taji, that people have normal is, why should I get on a plane and come across the country when I've been getting this over the internet? Why can't y'all just stream it and charge me?
Absolutely. I think people would rather do that. And quite honestly, we want to get out and do things. But, I have become, I hate to say lazy, but comfortable with convenience. Let's say that.
I love that.
I love that.
Yes,
With convenience. I love that.
right.
Why would I go to the store when they're going to deliver it here
Yep.
In 2
and almost
hours.
bring it inside in 2 hours?
In 2 hours.
Exactly. In fact, for me, usually it's less. Usually in an hour, I have my stuff. Why would I go to the store then? So, I would think we become comfortable with convenience, and that also includes the content we consume. Yeah, a lot of people want to go back to concerts and things like that too. But there's also a contingency that we're never into the huge thing. Yeah, I kind of like going to concerts, but I'm better with small, intimate performances inside, like a House of Blues or something like that. It's an Austin City Limits type thing, and I could watch it on TV. So that type of thing. So it's
And I say this: wait till we get that holodeck in the house, like on Star Trek. Get that.
Oh, hang it up then. So the industry just really needs to, honestly, these things are real. They're happening, and instead of fighting it and litigating your way out of it, work with it and see how you're going to master it instead of complaining. I have no time for excessive complaining, and I'm not hearing it from you. You have the money to do something about it now, so do it. Future-proof yourself. Yeah. All right. So I have just a couple of others because I know we're like kind of way over time with this. Super Bowl is coming. Super Bowl 55 is virtually sold out. So all of their commercial inventory, according to a spokesperson for Viacom CBS, is sold out. Ad slots for video streams are set to accompany the linear broadcast. So you could stream it, but you could also watch it on linear on Viacom CBS, okay? All of those ads have sold out. In fact, Facebook is going to have a Jumbotron at the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are looking for creative ways to do things. You all know me. I really don't care that much about football. So I'm like, man, whatever. But the interesting thing that I do pay attention to is the Super Bowl ads because, that's my field. So I always pay attention to that because that's what I would always say, ask my students, hey, who watched the Super Bowl ads, what did you think? So,
to advertising world, this is like the Oscars, like the Super Bowl ads. This is like their big thing. So I remember it being
their big thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. One last story. Speaking of streaming, our wonderful friends at Disney, well, Verizon, let's say, have said that, remember we were talking about the fact of churn, and churn is when people sign up for a service and then right before the free trial is about to end, they cancel it. That would be me. I've yet to see anything that I'm really excited about after the free trial, so I always cancel. So you can always expect, excuse me, a certain amount of churn when it comes to these free trials. Verizon has said they've reported that 2/3 of Disney Plus promo subscribers have stuck around. That's a pretty big number. So if you recall, Verizon gave premium subscribers to Verizon certain tiers. They gave them a year of Disney Plus free. So that year of Disney Plus free actually ended, was it November? I think it was November. Because November of the following year that happened. So it ended in November of 2020. 2/3 of the people who signed up stayed around. Now, what they didn't say is whether the people, because it was a bundle of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. What they didn't say is whether or not, or they didn't say how many of the customers kept that entire $12.99 bundle versus downgrading to individual services. Excuse me. But the fact that you have anybody stick around at all is amazing. And 2/3, that's actually quite a nice number.
I think it may be because they need something to keep the kids.
The kids are home.
Right.
Thank you. And the real test. So here's the thing. We don't even really have real numbers. So that is a big number, but you're right. We won't know really the impact of this until we really don't have to stay home anymore like we are now. So when the kids really fully go back to school in some capacity, that is going to be the real test of what the churn is. If you're still able to retain that same amount of people, that's really going to be a better metric to determine how many people really like your service.
And we may not
Absolutely
see
right.
the impact of this because people are trying to save money, and taking the whole family out is more expensive. So they may stay on longer than we anticipated,
Exactly.
trying to catch up economically.
So we really don't know. Unless, they're going to have to really do some deep social scientific research with deep questions to understand why they're staying on beyond, okay, well, you were on before the pandemic and you stayed on. So yeah, so you retained. That's a surface metric. So we need to understand the reasons why now, more of a qualitative approach. So it will be interesting to watch and see what happens with not just Disney Plus, but all of these platforms.
Yep.
And that's me. I'm done.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody watching live here on our live stream. And then everybody who is listening in at the Clubhouse. Just want to say thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today. Jill and Ms. Dryer Buzz. I know your first name. Let me tap on here.
Yolanda?
Yolanda, yes, Yolanda Lattimore. Thank you for being here and touching bases and Mark Ward, our resident comedian. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a recommendation before we go.
Sure.
This has nothing to do with anything that we've spoken about, but just an entertainment recommendation. Tachi, I know this doesn't apply to you because you don't have it, but if you have Hulu, I urge you to check out, it's called In and of Itself.
Okay, In and of Itself.
Yeah.
It is the most jaw-dropping theatrical experience that I have ever seen. It is absolutely amazing. I highly, highly recommend it.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to go check it out. In and of Itself.
He was talking about that yesterday.
Really?
I hope you all enjoy.
I don't have Hulu.
Exactly. That's why I said I hope you all enjoy.
But I have what is that thing? I have the bundle with Disney.
Oh, for Disney Plus. So you do that. Yeah, you have Hulu.
So is In and of Itself on Disney?
It's on the Hulu package because
on the package.
Yeah, it's the package.
Okay.
It's on Hulu itself. So if you don't have Hulu, you won't be able to get, unless you do a free trial. You could do a free trial if you wanted and cancel in 7 days.
See, and that's the thing. There's always that option. I like how they do that. I don't like the 48-hour trial stuff, but I do like the 7-day trial. Let me take a look and see
if it's still 7 days. If it's still, I know at one point it was, but a lot of them have changed things up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this has been Tech Life Weekly with the Tech Divas and the Tech Dudes, and we'll be back on Monday.
We want to remind everybody it's going to be first Monday. So
are we?
Yep.
It's first Monday. It's February 1st. I guess so.
So first Mondays we have our networking event. So we'll be here at 4:00 Pacific time,
and we'll be over in the clubhouse as well.
And we'll be in the clubhouse at 4. So with that, and that's special.
So we will see you on Monday. Dr. Tachi, thank you. And you'll be back on Wednesday with media.
Yes.
All right. And Jill, do you got anything going on? I guess I would need to invite her to speak. Yeah, I'm learning how to push the buttons.
Yeah, so while we're over here, Dr. Tachi, tell them where they can find you. Because a lot of people don't know about Mediascope while she's
So we're back. Okay, sure. We're back for season 6 of Mediascope.
I love it.
You can find us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Periscope/Twitter, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and WJMSradio.com. We have some other platforms that we're working on trying to get into the mix, so you can find us that way. And it's all media tech and pop culture with lots of fun and foolishness thrown in.
Hey, thank you. Jill, go ahead. What do you got going on?
Thank you so much. I am doing a room tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, a sleep meditation, surrender into sleep. Sleep and you can
What time was that?
8:15 p.m.
8:15 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
And it's called
That's
surrender.
11 o'clock here.
Mm-hmm. So
It's
are we
late.
going to see that on your page? How do we find it?
It's going to be in the clubhouse room.
Oh, it's going to be in the clubhouse.
House event.
Oh.
I can send you an invite, Terry.
Okay.
Because I know how to do that now.
Okay.
Challenge.
I think I'm following you, Jill. So
Very nice, Jill. Thank you.
That
Ooh,
sounds wonderful.
I know.
It does, doesn't it?
Surrender into sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, woo. Too bad I got to go to work before I can do that today.
I
but-
know. I need to surrender into sleep right after this.
There you go.
Yolanda, what do you got going on?
Hey guys, well, it is $5 Fridays at shopdryerbus.com. So I'm getting ready to go live and have a great shopping experience. So check it out.
All right. Thank you.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
Sounds
10
like a plan.
Pacific time, right over here on, I believe that's on Facebook.
That is on Facebook.
Okay, cool. All right. With that, we want to say thank you. Mark, you got anything coming up?
No, I don't. Not anything of note. Thank you, though.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take it away, Terry.
All right. We just want to remind you guys that on Monday, we'll be here at 8 a.m. for Coffee, Tea, Thoughts, and Conversations. And we'll be back for First Mondays, which is the Biz Chicks networking event. And we want you to remember to go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. Thank you again, Doc.
Thank you.